Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to week 2 of Harmonize, 2Energize. My name is Terry Matthews. I work here at the Scottsdale Jin Shin Jyutsu office as a practitioner, office manager, and self-help teacher. So last week we began discussing an overview of what Jin Shin Jyutsu is understood to be. And on the replay, those of you that didn't see us live, you'll get an opportunity to review that. But I just want to quickly cover the key points, which is we're talking about how we can harmonize energy that lives and moves and has its being through us. We're great doers in life, most of us. Mary Burmeister and Jerome Mariah were asking us to simply be. And one of the key components of simply being is simply learning how to breathe. And in this particular art, the emphasis is on the exhale, where we let go of our dirt, dust, and greasy grime and inhale cosmic purified energy to keep all our energy fields in balance. Last week, we talked about how energy circulates in different bandwidths, which Mary used to call depths. And as these bandwidths of energy dense down, they create the forms that we see in front of us, whether it be human, animal, vegetable. And as these depths dense down, they all have different qualities, different characteristics. And we talked about the general direction of this energy at this level, which is actually unmanifest, is to bring light or the breath essence down the front of the form and up the back. And I showed a simple technique using what are named safety energy locks. And these safety energy locks are formed at the 6th depth or 6th bandwidth of energy. And they are left and right side of our body. They each have a definite role to play and help direct energy down the front, up the back, or wherever it needs to go at different levels of our being. And we talked about bringing energy from safety energy lock number 4 at the back here, the occiput, through safety energy lock 15 in the groin, to safety energy lock 7, which is the part of the big toe. And those of you that have already obtained these books will know that all the safety energy lock information is in fact in safety energy lock, self-help book 2. Anyway, I think there's no better way than progressing in anything than practicing. And what I'd like to suggest we do now is that we review that whole process of bringing energy from head to toe, toe to head, heaven to earth, earth to heaven, with that phrase that Mary used, from man's best friend to man's best friend, dog to God, D representing the 4th letter of the alphabet, safety energy lock number 4, O, the 15th letter, safety energy lock number 15, and G, safety energy lock number 7, and then returning on the inhale. So we exhale, dog to God. And I showed you a simple mudra that will facilitate this energy of the 4 and the 7 whilst you're doing this process. And we place it in our laps, our hands in our laps, in safety energy lock 15, so that we've got that whole rhythmic pattern, 4, 15, 7. And I also talked about the importance of facilitating our breath 36 times. And the process of that was based on the understanding of 4 times 9 breaths. 4 meaning a window that lets in more light, and 9 ending a cycle, beginning of a new. We're just going to do one cycle now as a review. And the recipe, which I indicated that Mary wrote, is in Self-Help Book 2. Remind myself, page 2. So let's all just Hold our fingers in this mudra, which is thumb over the ring finger, nail, like this. Place it in our groin, in the 15s. Sit up as straight as you can. Support your back if you need to. It's best to do this with our eyes closed to block out any unnecessary sensory interference. But we're going to do 9 exhalation inhalations. 1 breath is an exhale and an inhale. So relax, drop your shoulders, bow your head slightly, and be the smile. And we're going to exhale all our dirt, dust, and greasy grime down the front of our body and receive cosmic purified energy, the essence of the breath, up the back. Here we go. Let's begin. And we're going to do it 9 times. And as a quick reminder, my metabolic rate is different from yours. So if I take longer than you, don't worry. If you complete the 9 breaths, just sit quietly with your palms in the mudra position, in your 15s in the groin. And you can carry on exhaling and inhaling. Remember, we have at least 36 breaths to go. So anyway, let's go. 9 exhalations, inhalations. Close your eyes. Exhale, drop shoulders, smile. And as we exhale, the energy is spiraling down from the 4 through the 15, right to the 7, the big pad of the toe. And at this terminal, it turns around, comes back up, spiraling up the body through the 15 again, and back up to the 4 via the spine. As you're exhaling, feel your shoulders melting into your feet, just like molten lava. All that dirt, dust, and greasy grime is released. We're rebuilding, and the cosmic purified energy coming up through the earth, up through our feet, through our 7s, back through the 15, to the 4, the window that lets in more light. And when you complete the 9th cycle of exhale, inhale, down the front, up the back. Just sit quietly and observe. Observe how you feel. Observe the flow of energy through your body. It was moving through different areas of your body, perhaps, and maybe you noticed sensations in different areas of your body. The breath allows us to move the breath essence, which is light, through our body, to heal, to remove blockages that are resisting the flow of energy. When this happens, these safety energy locks we spoke of block up, they freeze up. So when we practice simple things like this, we're facilitating the most congruent flow of energy, head to toe, skin to bone. So, congratulations. We brought the window, we opened the window to let in more light. We went through the 15, which is actually open your hearts with joy and laughter, or bringing, filling your heart with joy and laughter, through to the 7, victory, perfect life power. We brought that light from heaven to earth. Now we've arrived. And yet, there is one stage, if you like, before that, even though it's interrelated and it's part of what Mary called the Trinity flows. It's that part of our being known as our center, or the main central vertical universal harmonizing energy. It's our personal source of life or light. We talked about how the depths of energy step down, and we talked as the energy moves down, light enters the body. It enters it in 2 places. It enters between the umbilical area and the 15 and at the back of the head. Although we don't generally talk about the entrance at the back of the head, when we do the self-help to allow this central vertical energy to flow, we do engage that energy that comes in through the head too. So we're going to look at that. I have some slides, and those of you that have Self-Help Book 1 will know that the map given in there from pages 15 to 17 may be different, and probably is different from what you are used to these days. So let's have a look at the slides. Yeah, so in Self-Help Book 1, Mary has this diagram. Well, she doesn't have this particular diagram, but the pattern of flow of energy moves down in 7 steps. A lot of experimentation, and some years later, Mary added an extra step to this flow, which is shown in the next slide. Here it is in the middle here, just above the umbilicus energy. So we went from 7 steps to 8 steps. Now this main central vertical flow is very important for harmonizing all the flows in the body. And our man's best friend to man's best friend, our God to dog flow, or our dog to God flow, is actually part of the Trinity known as the supervisor. However, without the main central to feed it, the supervisor flow, or this harmonizing flow that we do, what we practiced, would not be able to be fueled or fed. So let's feed ourselves with more light here and here, and bring into our awareness the main central vertical universal energy, harmonizing energy. It's at the unmanifest level, 6th depth, and when it becomes more manifest in the body, it is the spine. And we begin with the right hand on the head. Now let me just stop the slide presentation. And what we're going to do is we're going to begin by placing our right hand on the top of our head. Now, if that's uncomfortable doing it seated, you can always lie down. You can stand up if you want, or you can actually slip your hand down to that safety energy lock number 4. But we're going to begin anchoring the right hand at the top of the head, and then we're going to place the left hand here on the forehead. And what we're listening for now is a sense of the energy that comes into our body, pulsing here and here. Now, I realize for some people that may not be something that immediately happens. So we have our friend, the 36 breaths, the 4 sets of 9, and we don't have to do each energy center, if you like, in 9 cycles. We can actually split it up. Mary did that quite often. So why don't we just begin with 4 exhale inhales from here to here to help us feel the pulsation here and here. Let's begin. Again, it's good to close your eyes, block out unnecessary sensory energy. And as you're doing this breath, here, as we place our hands, we're facilitating the harmony of the deep body energy circulation, which is deep tissue in the body, fascia, helping the memory. So if you're having memory lapses, which maybe are more frequent when you work with computers these days, this hold here will help circulate more energy and therefore more blood to your brain and will improve your memory. By the way, you can use your palm, you can use the back of your hand, or just your thumb. It's normally easy to use your fingers. Now, the next step of the main central vertical harmonizing flow, those of you that got Self-Help Book 1, turn over the page to page 16. We're going to leave the right hand where it is, but we're going to place our left hand on the tip of the nose. And this revitalizes superficial body energy and reproductive functions. So again, you can experience or practice 4 exhalation inhalations with the idea of hearing or listening for a pulse here and a pulse here. As soon as you can feel the pulses between, or even if you can't, it doesn't matter. Energy has this push and pull motion which catches up with itself. So leaving the right hand here, take the left hand away, and we're going to place it here at the base of our throat here. And this will help us revitalize the thyroid gland and parathyroid gland and stimulate energy. So 4 exhalation inhalations, if that works for you. Now we move the left hand from our throat area, the base of the throat, onto the sternum between our nipple area. This helps revitalize the immune system, relieves nausea, and assists with our breathing. Here we go, making the connection from here to here. Now, as we feel a connection, or maybe it's still faint, but don't worry, we're now going to keep the right hand here, and we're going to move the left hand down to the base of the sternum, the xiphoid process. And this revitalizes the energy of the spleen and the adrenals, revitalizes the nervous system. So just gently exhale and naturally inhale, listening for those pulses. And again, if anchoring here is getting a little tiresome, just slip the hand down to the fours. Keeping our right hand where it is, we now move the left hand to roughly 1 inch above the umbilicus. This is the extra area that Mary introduced later on, differently from what you'll read in Self-Help Book 1. This is not shown in the diagram there. It's just 1 inch above the umbilicus, and this tonifies our abdominal muscles and our intestinal function. So feel the sense, if you can, of energy moving from the head down through all those centers that we've connected to where your left hand is now, completing that circuit, revitalizing and tonifying. Then we're going to leave the right hand where it is, and we're going to take the left hand, and we're going to put it over the pubic area. And this revitalizes descending energy, and it's also like a center 15. So we're opening up and filling our heart with more joy and laughter. Finally, the last step to promote the energy, the life, breath, essence, the big breath of life, all these various terms are used to describe sixth depth energy. We're going to bring our right hand down from our head, and we're actually going to place it on our coccyx, and that promotes ascending energy. And whilst we've done 7 for exhalations up to 28, if we were using that formula, we're now just going to do 8 to bring us back from the personal source, which is the sixth depth of our breath, to the source of all sources, which is the 8th depth. Here we go. In addition to promoting ascending energy, this is opening up the whole pelvic region, and therefore the circulation to the legs and the feet will help cold feet harmonize. So if you know you have that project, you might just want to use this part of the main central. So that is the self-help of the main central vertical universal harmonizing energy. I'll just quickly go through it again, starting with the right hand on the head or at the back on the fours, left hand going to the forehead, then to the tip of the nose, then to the base of the throat, then to the mid part of the sternum between the nipples, then to the base of the sternum, solar plexus area, 1 inch above the umbilicus, the pubic bone, and then finally, you bring the right hand down to the coccyx to promote the ascending energy. 8 steps in all with that additional step. Something that Mary said was really project number 1 to do every day to revitalize your energy, to harmonize, to bring more energy. And this is what we want. We want to harmonize to energize. It's all in Self-Help Book 1. But actually, Mary talks about it in Self-Help Book 2. Those of you that have it, pages 9 to 11, and Book 3, page 23, 25, which to me would show how important this main central vertical harmonizing energy is. And if there was only one flow that you might consider doing on a regular basis, it might be the main central vertical harmonizing energy. You will read, as you study the self-help books, various shortcuts to the main central if you're running out of time. So if you're running out of time, one shortcut is just simply to place the right hand on top of the head, left hand on the pube, feel the pulsation there, and then take the right hand down to the coccyx. There you've brought the energy down, the front, up, the back, which Mary described as the oval. And those of you that are familiar with charts of safety energy lock, she actually said the main central was the oval safety energy lock. It's actually on the Jin Shin Jyutsu safety energy lock charts. The main central vertical universal harmonizer, the harmony of the total being. So it's very important. And play with it. And by that I mean allow yourself to experience the energy as it goes through these different centers. And once more, receiving the breath allows you to relax much more. We're not taking a breath and we're exhaling and allowing our dirt, dust, and greasy grind to go down. And even though we're reaching from the head here to the pube, we know that when we reach the pube and we place our hand on the coccyx, that energy then circulates from that 15 area down through the feet to the 7. So we're back to man's best friend, to man's best friend. So those of you that haven't seen last week's replay, it might be useful to catch up on some of the concepts that I've reviewed here. And there'll be a replay of today's available, and it'll be sent to you, and it'll also be available on our YouTube site. I hope this has been helpful to you. I know some Jin Shin Jyutsu practitioners only do the main central vertical self-help as their self-help Jin Shin practice. In fact, Pat Mehta, who used to work here, Mary's right-hand apprentice, that's all she told me she ever did, and she was as sprightly as they come, almost floating, I would say. So this is a powerful channel. It's bringing in the breath essence, and the breath essence is light. We need that light to feed every part of our being at every level. And in particular, as we're allowing that energy to descend, it's cleaning as well. getting rid of dirt, dust, species, crime, and it's building us anew and bringing in cosmic purified energy. So what more could you want? So thank you, everybody, for being with me today. I appreciate it. I enjoy exploring these teachings with you. And I hope those of you that find this fascinating, you can pick up these books from our website or phone us here at the office. And just as a quick mention, we actually have a magazine called The Main Central. Obviously, you're going to see the mirror image, but it covers discussions of all the different aspects of Jin Shin Jyutsu from instructors and practitioners and gives you fresh insights. This is an art, and we become our own testimony as we explore. So happy exploring. Bless you all. Have a wonderful rest of the day, a wonderful rest of the week, and I hope to see you next Thursday, same time, same place. Thank you.